We have to find a way to stay sane. We have to find a way to try to get our spirits up, even though we're in some difficult situations in our lives, even though it feels like life can be so mundane and life can be very hard at times and very stressful and it can make you depressed. But if there's anything that gives you hope, if there's anything that gives you satisfaction, if there's anything that can try to lift up your spirits, make sure you do it. Make sure you pursue it. Because a lot of us, we have hobbies, we have things we do on the side, little side projects or whatever, and maybe some of these ideas and projects we have will never become financially successful, but at least they can become emotionally successful. And emotional success is when you just write that little book on the side, even if it's a couple of chapters or a couple of pages or whatever. Or maybe you finish it. Just write that little book, do that side artist project that you've been holding off. Just do it, just so you can have some emotional success, because that can help alleviate a lot of this pain that we go through in this world, man. Just something that you created with your own hands without anybody telling you, and something you created and innovated for free. And you just did it because you just love creating, and it makes you happy to create. Because we're in a world that it punishes creators. It punishes those that think outside the box and think outside the traditionally crafted paradigm systems. And these systems are designed to break confidence and break the fluidity of creation. So I know a lot of us, we've been through a lot of drama. We've been through a lot of trauma in our lives. And it's really hard to stay focused sometimes, because all the emotional pain, like your family can mistreat you the worst, at times. Like you can be in your lowest, struggling, going through it, and there could be people in your family that target you. And you notice that your life is a constant battle. Everywhere you go, there's always somebody trying to target you. There's always somebody trying to pick a fight with you. They don't like you, but they're just trying to hold on to you. It's weird. It's like, it's crazy. It's like these people, they don't like you, but they can't let you go either. It's very weird. Like if you don't like somebody, just leave them alone and go about your business. Why is that so hard to do? You know, it's because you're dealing with evil things. These beings know exactly what they're doing. They're doing it on purpose. They know what they're doing. They're jealous of you. They see something in you that they don't have. Rather than coming out with it, they do all this other stuff. You know, these entities, whatever controls this realm, it really doesn't like humans being free. As you can see, they keep taking away our rights. They keep taking away our ownerships. They keep taking away things that people own legitimately. You work hard for something, you buy it, and then a company can just take it away instantaneously. Yet, if you take something from them instantaneously without paying, that's called theft. They'll say it's thievery. But these billionaire companies, they can steal from the poor. The government infrastructures, it can suppress people trying to be independent for themselves. And it's brutal. It's like if you were to go out into the middle of nowhere and try to build like your own land, the government's going to come out of nowhere and start trying to tax you. You're gonna see some agent knocking on your door saying, "Hey, you got to pay taxes. You can't be out here alone away from the system. You got to be connected to the system somehow, so we can monitor you, so we can keep surveillance on you, so we can see your activities, so we can try to stop you." That's crazy. But that's the system that we live in. If you look at history, this is factually true. You know, the Central Intelligence Agency, we're doing all type of MK Ultra experiments, mind control experiments. They always want to control your mind. They always want to decide your perceptions. They always want to make sure that what you're seeing, like what you see with your eyes, is considered a lie, and what they show you is considered the truth. That's so backwards. It's like, what the truth is. You know how it feels like to go through hell, to go through pain, to go through isolation. Not to have a woman being broke, trapped at a dead end job. You know how that feels like. And that's not a good feeling. But the government is telling you to just man up and pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Those mother effers. There's no way you can pull yourself up by your bootstraps in this day and age without help. We need more than, and what's crazy is we need the economic stabilization. But also, there needs to be mental health resources as well. I think the prioritization of mental health should be utmost important because there's a lot of people breaking down in society. There's a lot of people going through it. There's a lot of people that are homeless. Like, do you know, do you know what that does to the mind when you don't know where you're going to sleep at? You know, when you're always in hostile environments. It's like being a soldier behind enemy battle lines. You're sleeping in the desert somewhere, or you're sleeping, you can't make any light, you can't make any fires at night or anything. You got to eat your military rations quietly and be in the bush, and you got to listen for enemy footsteps coming behind you, and you got to listen for enemy speech or whatever. It's scary, honestly. It's like when you are in this position and you have no economic power and you have nobody to help you out, and you're pretty much by yourself in the world that's cold, and then you still have people trying to attack you. Even when you're down and out, you still have mother effers trying to attack you. Ain't that something? How is that not demonic? How is that not evil? You know what I mean? You could be going through it for years and life will still be relentless. But I think guys like us, the best thing we can do is stay away from negativity, is stay away from negative people. If people don't want to mess with us, then we don't mess with them. If people don't like us, then we don't like them. Just stay away from all the negativity if you can. That's like your best bet, honestly. People like us, like my best advice to give is to focus on yourself. Make sure, like you have to keep the 9 to 5 because that's what's the primary provider. Make sure you have side projects and things that can make you some money as well. And try to have multiple revenues of money coming in, like have more than just a 9 to 5 job check to depend on. Try to create multiple revenues of income because if you the more assets that you multiply in your financial portfolio, like the more assets you own, the more assets that appreciate in value over time, the accumulation and retention of these assets are going to lead to financial stabilization. But these assets have to be worth something. So you have to create some type of customer base, right? And that's the difficult part, you know, even though for places like McDonald's or, you know, even Xbox and even Sony, if people are mad at Sony, because the discless, but there's still going to be a bunch of NPCs that are still going to buy PS6. They're still going to buy Grand Theft Auto 6, and they're still going to make billions of dollars, billions and billions of dollars, So it's going deep, like the system, and it sucks because if you're somebody that's an introvert, if you're somebody that's not really a social person, and you're somebody that just wants to be left alone, you're going to be thrown into a world of chaos. You're going to be thrown into a world of barbarity. You're going to be thrown into a world that it really has no intention of seeing you have your peace. If you notice in your life, there's always certain things that happen in your life that make it worse, that come out of nowhere, like you don't expect it, like your mind wasn't even thinking about that. Your mind is focused on something totally different, and then something comes and railroads you out of nowhere, you know, and it's like something like you didn't expect because you're just minding your business, and you have people plotting against you. It's crazy. Like, really, are people really who never met you, who don't know anything about you, really sitting there plotting against you? Like, they hate you for some reason. You haven't done nothing to these people. Only thing you've ever done is upload your videos and mind your business, and these people roll some type of sick, twisted, parasitic attachment to you. It's ridiculous. You know, um, these people really are pathetic, and when you lose people in life, it changes you and alters you as well. That piece of you that was once alive is no longer in existence. And for people like us, man, it's difficult to try to hold on sometimes. Like to hold on to the belief, to hold on to the hope, you know. But what choice do we have? You know, it's just you have to stay away from people. You have to focus on things that make you happy. Despite the pain, despite the things that make you go insane, you have to hold on to the things that can bring peace and tranquility to your mind. Because if not, you're going to snap. If not, your mind's going to break, and you don't want that to happen. So try to find the little glimpse of happiness if you can. even if it comes from adult explicit materials, if it comes from video games, if it comes from, drinking a soda pop or having a smoothie or having your favorite cheeseburger, or your favorite burrito or something like that. Just anything that you can eat, anything that can make you happy, just enjoy it. Because for guys like us, we got to take any happiness we can get. Anytime life throws us a little bone, we got to take it because we already know something bad's about to happen. You ever notice that when something good happens, there's always something bad happens, or it's something that you really don't want to happen, and it just happens. It's like, and these things that happen are like the worst things. Like it's like the worst possible thing that can happen. Like let's say you have a YouTube channel, and you have like somebody, a nosy family member that happens to look online and find your YouTube channel random, and it's like, wow, really? How does that happen, right? Or you get like weird people following you that are just absolutely insane. These people are absolutely out of their minds. And it's like, it's very strange. But you can never have nobody who can, really get you out that situation and put you in a place of like that has a good job for you. Like you can never meet somebody like that who happens to follow you and be like, hey bro, I got a my fucking uncle's a millionaire. He needs somebody to do woo, 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 or something like that. Or hey, can you, whatever? Can you help write a song or something like that? It's something that's like right up your alley. Notice that all the negative things happen are things that you just don't want to happen at all, but they happen, right? It's just, my God, it's really interesting how this world functions. All the days of all the days of feeling like you're in constant war, because you are. Like anything in this world that is attacking your peace of mind and your happiness, that's an act. That's a declaration of war, is it not? When you're sitting there minding your own business and somebody brings some bull crap to you, when you're sitting there minding your business, not bothering people, and you got people plotting against you, trying to attack you for no apparent reason, and this happens everywhere you go, that's a noticing in itself. You know, once maybe an accident, two times nah, the third time when somebody tries to attack you, now they're doing it intentionally, right? And a lot of us, we grew up where we've been disrespected a lot. A lot of us, we've been disrespected because of our place in life, because we don't have a lot of money. So we see how people really treat people without money. They treat you like crap, you know. And you see how people treat people when they have a lot of money. They treat them, they kiss their butt, they kiss their behinds, just because they have money, just because they have materialistic objects, right? And the world is trained on that. That's why these companies can get away with the things they're doing, is because in America, especially, people only respect one thing, and that's the power of the almighty dollar, money. That's what people respect the most, is money. Once you if you get a lot of money, like people will either love you or despise you. But when you got so much money, it doesn't really matter because you're so wealthy. Like, you don't care about people's opinions when you're that wealthy. You think these billionaires and millionaires care that we know that they're evil and doing evil things? They can care. As long as you don't affect their life, what does it matter? Right? As long as you don't affect their money, as long as you don't affect that, what does it matter? Right? It's very strange, man. There's so many different types of people in this world, and everybody has their own religious beliefs. Everybody has their own understanding of how the world came to be, right? And one thing I know is that whatever created this is evil. No matter what creation stories are true or not true, what's true, what I see with my own eyes, is that whatever created this world is evil. It has an evil heart, it has an evil mind, it has an evil soul, and it does evil things all the time. And it's able to destroy our happiness at will. It's able to take control and make us lose our soul. It's able to make sure that we don't really proceed or progress too far in life. It makes sure that no matter how hard you work, it already has a place for you. I really believe that, man. I truly believe it. Because I've seen some talented people. I see some other talented people that never made it, and they should have made it. But if you look into their life, you see obstacles that are thrown in their life that made it almost impossible for them to make it. And then you see somebody who made it, and they make it, it just, over some TikTok dance, you know, and they can't rap, they can't sing to save their life, and they got people writing songs for them, you know. And these are the people that get praised and get honored and get respected because they have money. When when really a record deal is, a record contract is really a glorified loan. That's really what it is. A loan with interest, I might add. That's what a record deal really is. A glorified loan with interest. And you got to recoup that. You got to pay that back before you even start making a dollar. And then the label can add additional recurring fees to it to make you almost in debt. And there's so many different contractual stipulations that are integrated into the contract. You know, um, some of it is just blatant robbery of the artist's intellectual property. That's why I think it's best not to sign a record deal. But the problem is getting a fan base, man. It's hard building up a fan base, bro. Especially with music. People got to really rock with you to listen to your music, and you got to really be good. You got to be really, trying to rap, or whatever you're doing, not just rapping or music, but whatever you're doing that you're trying to build, because that's going to be our escape pad out of this, man. For guys like us, we can't just be the normal guy because we don't live normal lives. We don't live normal lives. We don't have normal wives. Like we don't have no wife. We don't have no children. We don't have the things that guys our age should have. You know, and when you're somebody that doesn't really have that much emotion, you're trapped in the ocean of immense pain. There's only so much you can take when you are in perpetual survival mode, right? So what I say is for guys like us, we really have to find the right people to vibe with, find the right people to be around with, find the right people to really try to build with if we can. But if we can't find like-minded people, then you got to be by yourself, unfortunately. But a lot of us, we've been by ourselves for such a long time. It's just another day. It's just another walk in the park. But I will admit, man, not having a soulmate, not having a girl that really knows you, like a girl that you met, like you guys met when you were teenagers, and then you guys kept dating to your early 20s, and now you're in your early 30s, and you pretty much grew up with this girl. Like when you met her, it was almost love at first sight and all that stuff. Like, for us, we don't experience that. You know, we don't get the love at first sight. We don't get the hugs, the kisses, the hey baby I'm home. Like we don't get that. We don't get the text messages with the smiley face and the hearts. We don't get no shit like that. You know, right? It's brutal. And that does have a psychological effect on your mind and confidence. We're men at the end of the day. And men, hell, we need love too. We need love. You know, you need it. It's a human. It's not even a human want. It's like a human need. It's like a human necessity to have that emotional regulation curated. Like you have to have a good woman in your life, and for us that can't experience it, it's the most painful thing ever. And people, like, we all try to have our ways of coping. Video games, oh man, I don't need no girl, whatever, I don't care. I've been alone for so long, who cares? But deep down inside, we know damn well that we would, if a girl liked us and gave us a chance, we definitely would, try that dance. If a girl really gave us a chance, we'd definitely try it and try to make something work, because it's brutal being alone, man. It's one thing being alone, but then when you see other guys that have a similar look towards you, like a look like you, or you see guys that maybe like don't have that much money, but they'll have a girl, they'll have somebody there for them. Meanwhile, you don't have nobody there for you. I know it makes you feel a certain way, man. It makes us all do when you see somebody out there in the world and they got a beautiful girl in their life, and you're like, damn, she's beautiful. I know he's hitting it from the back and making that nana smack. I just know it. I know he's tearing it up, And then you look at your um, then you look at your lack of experience, and it affects your confidence, man. So we have to focus on things that can give us financial independence. That's the only thing that's going to give us our happiness in this world, unfortunately. Unfortunately, finding true love is probably not for us and it's out of our reach. So we just have to focus on money. Young men, focus on getting your money up any way you can. Any way you can. The mission is to get rich, you know. Try to get rich in this evil world. Try to get rich. I can't tell you how to get rich, because there's a wicked evil God, the demiurge, who's watching all of us, and he already has a pre-plan who's going to be rich and who doesn't. So, I don't want to sell you false hope like a pastor. I gotta be real with you and tell you straight up. You know, just try to do what you love and try to make $1 from it. That's all I can tell you. And then once you make $1 from it, you keep going hard and you don't stop and you be consistent, resistant, and persistent. You know, these are the attributes of a multimillionaire. You know, those who go hard all the time, those who ignore just pointless beefs and pointless foolishness and stay focused. You stay focused on creation and innovation and integration of financial stabilization, you know, and you have to stay focused because this world's going to try to knock you off your pivot. This world's going to try to break you down and demoralize you and break down your emotions. You have to stay strong. We need the strength in this world. We have to really find out, what do we really want to do in this world? What is it that makes us happy? What is it that makes us confident? What is it that can get us girls? You know, and we have to focus and prioritize that because for there's no other way out. Like I refuse to stay broke forever. I'm going to try to get rich somehow. You know, and I suggest you guys do the same. Even if we never make it rich, at least have it in your mind. At least have it in your soul. At least have it in your thoughts. Even if it means nothing, because the minute you lose hope of that, then that's when the evil dark thoughts come. You don't want those thoughts. You want some type of positive thoughts. You want some type of positive thinking, right? Even though positive thinking really doesn't mean nothing in a negative world. You can think positive all you want for a werewolf not to eat you, and it's still going to devour you by the graveyard at night. But you know what I mean. It's kind of like a way of coping. Try to cope, because that's all we have. Like, coping is our hope. What else we gonna do, right? We can't get the girls we want. We can't ride the cars we want. We can't get the houses, um, and the true economics we really want. You know, you know, it's brutal. Being trapped in this, being trapped in this paradigm is interesting because you really get to see the world for what it's really about. And the world's all about sex, money, and power. Really, if you look at it, and control, and controlling people's minds. And they use all those things I just named to control people. Sex, money, power. They use that. They use, they fund certain things. Then they use money in the hierarchy of money, and then they use the power to put people in their quote unquote place. Because somebody that's an economically deprived person is going to have a few choices on where they can live at. They're going to live in the most poverty-stricken areas where there's crime, where there's violence, when there's all types of threats of one's life and self-preservation. Meanwhile, somebody that has a lot of money and who's privileged in life, they get to live in a nice suburban community, maybe a gated community, maybe they got neighborhood watch. They got everybody in the area has cameras all around their houses. Hell, even the cars have cameras. Those rich areas. The environment is nice, it's clean, it's pristine. The demographic is mostly European. Everybody's wealthy. Everybody's powerful. There's no crimes going on except maybe hidden ones, but it's not blatant. It's not. Um, those areas are harder to get into. And it's for a reason. you know. I'm really sick of this system. It's just it's tiring, man. It's so freaking draining. Every freaking day. Every single day you gotta wake up and go to the 9 to 5. every single day from Monday to Friday. Bro, I want to be like David Dobrik. I want to be a fucking multimillionaire, man. I want to be able to do what I want, when I want, how I want, anytime that I want. It could be 3:30 in the morning. I want a raspberry cheesecake, you know, right? You know, and maybe a beautiful woman to go with it. Hell, and then she'll be the real dessert, you know, right? At 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, have a beautiful woman and a raspberry cheesecake, right? Maybe some Mary Jane to the brain as well, you need that, you know, a nice late night smoke, blowjob on a private boat, adult stuff, grown man stuff, something that got some flavor. These are the things that I think about, man. Getting fellatio with a high ratio, hitting them from the back and making that nanny smack, you know, beautiful women all around. Like, why can't we enjoy that, man? Like, it's brutal. It's like, why the fuck can we get in on that? Like, have you ever watched, okay, like, if you ever watch adult exclusive material and you'll see like a guy, and sometimes he'll have 3 or 4 women that are engaging in adult activities with him, and it's like, damn, there's guys out here that can't even get one woman. Meanwhile, this guy got like 5 or 4 women on him, or 7 women on him, and it's like, damn. And these are all thoughts and bobs. And these girls, after a month from that, had boyfriends as they were doing the scene or after the scene. They got boyfriends that don't even know that you can find your girl doing adult activities online for everybody to see, And then once you find out that's your girlfriend, you don't want that to be your girlfriend anymore because you see that she's a lady of the night, And it's brutal. I often wonder, man, how different my life would have been if I had made it. If I had actually made it in what I wanted to make it in, I'll be rich. I'll be successful. I'd have a beautiful wife. I'd have beautiful children. A beautiful life. Cars are my dreams. The Nissan Skyline R34 V-Spec 2. Bentley Coupes, Lamborghinis, and Ferraris. Big old mansion in California. $7.5 million mansion. Nice swimming pool in the backyard. The Siberian Husky Wolf mix, talking parrots, have a whole zoo in my house, just wealthy, powerful, don't have to worry about struggle, um, having a beautiful wife, maybe a couple of mistresses on the side. Shit, I'm rich. Shit, we been through hell, shit, shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. A couple of mistresses to the side, bad dames with nice body frame, Just like how the old school mafia guys used to do it. Like the old school mob guys, they would have like 2 or 3 different families. Some of them, they'll have like a family in freaking New York, and then they'll travel be gone, and then they'll have another family in Minnesota. Then they'll have another family in North Carolina or somewhere like that, these low-key little spots, Then have another one in California or somewhere, some of these mob guys will have like 2 families, some of them, and they will never even know about it till like later. Some of them even 3. It's crazy. But to me, that's just too stressful, though, Handling one woman is enough, though. Having like 2 or 3 of them extra on the side is just a headache, but, to each his own, right? Let everybody have their fun because, hell, guys like us, we need it. Shit, everybody else like Chad and Tyrone, they get to have their fun. They get to have their cake and eat it too. Meanwhile, we can't even get the scraps off the plate or thrown to the table on the floor. We can't even get that much, It's brutal. All we ever wanted was love, man. Like, all we ever wanted was peace and tranquility. We never wanted this mess. We never wanted to be poor. We never wanted to be, how we look like. Some of us wanted to be something totally different. But this life chose to put us in a body that it chose for us to cause us the most pain. If you look carefully at life, you can see that it's carefully crafted, it's carefully orchestrated to give you the most excruciating emotional, mental torture and pain. Physical torture, emotional torture, spiritual torture. This whole existence is just torture. It's just pain. Look at what you're going through in life and tell me this are you happy? Just look at your life. Look at your life and say, are you truly happy? Are you truly happy from the bottom of your heart with how your life turned out? If not, then you see what I mean.